What's up, everybody? Well, we're all kind of stuck in our homes, so I figured I might as well share with you something kind of cool, actually. I'll get the volumes all set up here. Knock that down a little bit. So I'm hoping everybody's staying safe, and we got kind of a bit of a global audience, so I'm hoping everybody's kind of feeling good and staying safe. And those of you that are locked away, hope everything's good. I know our target audience is kind of not in the threat range of this thing, but I don't want to talk about it too much. I want to talk about just kind of some cool and interesting discoveries we got going on here. So recently, I had developed a little bit of a passion for the Dwarfs. I've got a Cities of Sigmar army, and man, I absolutely loved. I painted up the Dwarfs. I think I did a video on it here. Let me just grab my stuff. These are a couple of command guys. We'll get into them. But I got in here and I thought, oh man, you know what? I've got these. They're kind of left over from the original, Battle for Skull Pass, and they turned out super well. And so I painted them up, and then I painted up the Thunderers as well, and I absolutely love these guys. They're super rad. And so I painted them up. I thought, well, I can fit them in the Cities army, so I might as well. And oh man, they were so much fun to paint, and they were crazy easy to paint as well, which was kind of nice. So here's kind of a smattering of them that are in here. The banners are particularly cool as well. And I really loved them. I thought they were kind of cool. And then a buddy of mine said, "Hey, I started beaking off about how much I love these things." And sure enough, a buddy kicks in and says, "You know what? I've got a few that I can sell you as well." So I ended up picking up this big, huge case of these guys, and it's been a problem. I'm not going to lie. It's been a little bit of a challenge anyway. And so, what my next step is here, after painting kind of a few of the Battle for Skull Pass guys, I ended up getting a whole bunch more. And you can see them here as well. So you can see I've been going a little bit crazy with all these guys. So I'm batch painting 32 of them. And the reason I'm doing that is I wanted to kind of get the warriors out of the way. So the Thunderer guys, if we just look at like the basic dudes here, it's pretty amazing how fast and easy these guys painted up. I mean, they were like super speed painting. When you look at them, just kind of the breakdown of all of them, the warriors, their beards are just dry brushed, right? So it's the one color and then the dry brush over. The shields are just kind of doing the metals and then poking in the red. And then if you do this scheme at the back with the different colors of mail or whatever, holy cow, do they go fast. And it's the same thing with the Thunderers as well. Because A, there's not a lot of real estate on these guys, you can batch paint them super fast, which I really like. I love all the metals in the back and all this, and how easily they washed up. So you tear through them fairly quickly. So even though I'm just kind of doing that 32 dudes there, it's actually going out pretty well. I'm really kind of enjoying the end result here, and they're absolutely awesome. I'm going to be doing a tutorial on. I'm just building some of these right now, and so this is going to be one of our walls. And I thought it was really funny. I wanted to make sure that my guys could look over the walls, so I set this particular size. So we're going to be doing some of the terrain for some of our streaming projects anyway. But yeah, pretty awesome anyhow. Anyhow, so this has been great. I've really been enjoying it. And then I get this box, and I realize, holy crap, there's like 5 trillion models in this box. So that's why I'm going so hard on that. Those 32 guys there anyways. I want to catch all these guys up and go from there. We also finished a Path to Glory campaign, and it has been awesome. These guys are great. They're kind of underpointed in the Path to Glory side for the Cities of Sigmar, but man, did I learn a lot. What a great way to kind of start a small army and just kind of build it up from there. So But that's not the point of this video. I'm actually going to do kind of a tactics video and things that I've learned about some of the deployments in AOS. And we'll talk about the city stuff specifically. I've actually got some cool conversion ideas as well. I'm going to convert up some knights to be Griff knights and things like that. So it should be pretty darn solid. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these new dudes that we got here. One of the big reasons that I initially kind of started this whole thing was I was looking for hammerers, and so they've got a bunch of the older hammerers in here. Now, the new hammerers are pretty cool. Don't get me wrong, I really like them quite a bit. But I find the new dwarfs, they're kind of, I don't want to say missing something, but they're missing some of that dwarfy elements to them. I really appreciate the bunch of bearded alcoholics rolling around the battlefield trying to get stuff done. And I understand that, for reasons of sensitivity and all that, you want to kind of tamp down that. But I love the fact that these guys, I've got 30 of these guys, by the way. And I'm really digging the fact that these guys still have a lot of that kind of detail intact. So let's take a look at kind of the way it's broken down. So these guys, I'm really enjoying the fact that they've got kind of the different hammers. They've got the shields on the back, and I got loads of bits that came with these guys too. So they got all the iconography for the back of the shields and all of that. But I just like the raw kind of wooden elements that are in here, like the little pot bellies and of course the beards. Now, by having such simple designs, it makes it very, very easy to paint these guys, and it's been going very fast, especially with that kind of thinned down washes that I use. I find they work really, really well. And what's a nice subtle detail is they've all got little tankards here for their ale, which is pretty rad. I really like that quite a bit. So they've got that kind of domed helmet on there, the very classic old school. So this is kind of like a intermediary between the dwarfs of old, which looked amazing, and I'd love to get my hands on them at some point in time. And then of course the transition to the newer plastic ones. I think when they were developing the plastic ones, they had it was all kind of computer designed and stuff, and I think they lost a little bit of that personality. I love the new models, don't get me wrong, but I like the kind of the style and the feel of these guys. So, really good. Hey Dave, how's it going? Good to see you live. Have a good stream. I'll catch the rerun. All right, Dave, we'll catch you later, man. I'm sure. Well, I'm imagining you'll catch it later for sure. The leadership guy here, you'll see that you've got his little sword in here, and just the big huge beard. Again, the tankard in there, the little pouches all over the place, and just a really nice, flavorful little army. Now, the one drawback of going with this route is that there are many, many duplicate poses, especially in the Battle for Skull Pass, and I kind of approach that with different colors of beards. So if you've got the same guy, you can always shuffle up the color of the beards, which is fine. Sometimes you can shuffle up placement by cutting stuff off, but these guys are just going to exist in swarms. So I'm actually going to use these guys as warriors in here as well. But anyway, getting back to these guys, it's really nice to see that, despite the fact that they've all got that kind of hammered over the head thing, but in reality, it's, the way they play on the field, it's pretty funny. They actually go rolling forward, so I do picture them, like, hobbling around those little legs, very dangerous over short distances, and, like, running at them with hammers in hand, and then just crushing down onto their opponents as they charge in. So, fantastic counter-charge unit, really, really strong and powerful, strong AP, 2 attacks apiece. So when you get to activate them and draw them in, you get loads of damage out the door. Very, very cool. So the hammers were like one of the coolest adds that I really liked. Even the musician's got his little hammer on there. A lot of the other musicians don't have them. He's got a little spot for his shield, so his shield's a little bit lower. He's got his hammer on his side, and he's got his little tankard in here. And just loads of personality in here. It's pretty awesome. I think I had to do up a banner for them. I just had to include a banner in there to make it work. I'm just trying to see if there's any additional poses that are in there, and they don't appear to be anyway. So this was the main entry into the army, and so we came up with a deal for the hammers, which was pretty cool. And then he's like, well, actually, why don't you just take the whole thing and we'll do X amount? And I thought, oh, okay, and off we went. So so there it is. Anyway, so the hammers themselves, great units on the field. Really like the way they turned out, and of course getting them on round bases. These are starting to become a little bit of an endangered species. I don't know if you've noticed, but having the slaughter bases in there now, it's they're getting to be a little bit endangered, actually. Another buddy of mine, one of the guys that we're going to be doing some streams with, he actually made me an offer. He says, well, he needs a bunch of the rounded ones, and he'll trade me a bunch of his old slaughter ones for that. So we'll see how it goes after I start mounting a bunch of these guys on. Now, put these guys away here. Now, one of the things that I'm really digging with the dwarfs is the way that the leaders kind of influence the combats. And I've got the old, I think this was 2000, those hammers from 2005, by the way. And then there is a bunch of command guys from 2006. Kind of that era as well, and these are the ones I kind of started the stream off with. Got kind of the Rune Lord command guy. We've got another Rune Lord here, and then of course we've got the Thane or the King in here. We've got some of the special characters, the old ones, and I'm actually going to be doing Celestial Hurricanum. And I was thinking of doing it as a big, massive rune forge. So I was even thinking of maybe doing this guy up as a statue, kind of sitting on the front as kind of like a figurehead or a masthead on that big kind of Celestial Hurricanum. So neat kind of ideas, and obviously I want to have a lot of personality moving forward here. So should be pretty cool. A couple of the other command guys that I got. This guy's in here. I thought that was a cool leader. And after doing a bit of research, it was actually a white dwarf model from an anniversary thing. So he might need to get stripped down and end up having a white beard there. So it should be cool. All right, taking a peek here. What else have we got in the box? I'm just going to look for some more leadership guys here. Obviously, we've got some of the special chosen characters here, or the Unforged. So I can just keep kind of working my way through all the stuff here. Oh, this was like the anniversary kind of banner carrier as well. I think he'd be kind of cool sitting up on something, or just using him as like in cities you've got this kind of favored squad where you can have them be basically their kind of honor guard. And I was thinking of taking some of the really dressed up models and using them as my honor guard to kind of fit them in the cities list, or even like a dispossessed list would be pretty neat. I've got a couple of these guys, the big battle babies here. You can see that we've got, this was a previous paint job here, but you can see his little butt there. That's cute. His big diaper on, and it's one of the plastic guys that came with the Battle for Skull Pass, I imagine. And yeah, it's really looking pretty solid. The detail and where they had pulled off kind of this big massive coup was on the Battle for Skull Pass stuff. They just put in just enough detail to make it show up, but not that you'd be sitting there painting for a week trying to make it work. So really cool to see him in the collection there as well. But then they also included some of the characters that are in here as well. So he's still got his old fantasy base, and what is he on? Looks like some kind of, I'm just not making the mental connection right now, but he's basically set up on here to be jumping over something and like diving in and hacking everybody up. Not sure if you guys can place that. Maybe you guys in chat can help me out here. But yeah, just being able to jump over top and go get the guys. But having it's a Chaos Warrior. I see. I'm so smart. It's kind of funny with the lights and the angle and the camera in the way. Yeah, it's an old Chaos Warrior in here, so he's leaping over said Chaos Warrior going to get some. I do like the dummy cables here, so if he drops an axe, he can just swing around and pick it up and go again. So pretty solid. So these guys again are all going to get that kind of paint stripping treatment. We'll repaint his butt cheeks there and all that. But yeah, I mean, I'm slowly going to work my way through this ginormous freaking army, which is great. And then, of course, you got some of the, the big leader types with the big massive axe. And again, these are all kind of in that 2006, 2005 kind of range, which is great. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I think it's 2006, 2005. We can probably take a look. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like 06 on this guy here. So obviously I'm gonna have to convert these all over to our round bases at some point in time. But yeah, it's kind of neat to have them kicking around for sure. Now, a couple of the other kind of cool commandy models that we got. I'm trying to figure out how to make this guy fit in. Oh, here we go. There's like a command model for the Unforged. He's like a big banner carrier with his, big goblin head on there. And yeah, it's just really neat seeing these guys. And they actually just just going through and kind of unpacking them and figuring out who's what and all that. Even more OCD is going through and kind of making up your squads and figuring out what you're keeping and maybe what you're going to get rid of or sell off. But really cool to see. Anyway, what else have we got in here? Oh, of particular interest. As I stick my face away from the microphone, it's all in bits and pieces. But check this out. It's the white dwarf. It's the white dwarf up top, and it's Felix and Grotek. That, eh? And so they're sitting up there riding on top. Hey Jonah, how's it going? Apparently I was offline for a second, but we're back. Weird. There it is. Hopefully you didn't lose anybody there. Hey Jonah, how's it going, man? So I'm not sure where the stream cut out and where it didn't, but let's see where we're at. So this is Gortek and Felix, obviously, needing a little bit more of a revisit on the paint, and of course the big white dwarf sitting on top. So I am actually planning on having these guys maybe on that centerpiece of that Celestial Huracanum. I think that would be pretty sweet to have these guys kind of rolling around. It's getting picked up kind of funny with the red, but yeah, I think these guys would be great. And I love the tankards everywhere. I think this is the most important part of the Dwarven army is the tankards. If not, I'll have to attach a whole bunch to everybody else. And that was kind of a cool find anyways, for sure. But yeah, no. So there's all kinds of cool mountings. Now they may not have these. We may not have these guys specifically in terms of rules and stuff for them, but I'm sure we'll figure something out. It'd be kind of cool to do like a quest of the dwarves, like a narrative campaign or something. That'd be pretty awesome. Next up, we've got. What else we've got? We've got actually a couple of the Cogsmiths as well. You got to say Cogsmiths apparently in our group. It's one of those things where you really need to kind of pay attention and say it right. Otherwise, people start looking at you weird. So the Cogsmiths here, I think they're really nice. Like I love these big backpacks. Now I don't know where Buddy's backpack is on this one. Obviously, this is a secondhand army, but he'll be kicking around. But I do love the fact that they've got all this stuff, like typical engineering crap, and it took me a while to figure out which direction was which. But he's got his little rifle back there. He's got he's got his a gear, a cog back there. His little machine to oil everything. Very Wizard of Oz. He's got his little tankard on top, and just this just heavy duty dude. He's got his pistol in here and this big cog hammer. To fix stuff. Just give it a good whack. You can fix orcs and goblins too by just giving them a good whack. It's pretty awesome. Oh, nice, Jonah. Good to hear, man. Yeah, the Poxwalkers are a lot of fun to put together. I really like them too. Anyway, so the dwarf guy here, I mean, he's the Cogsmith is pretty neat, and they play a pretty critical role. I've got a not a Hellstorm rocket battery, a Hellblaster volley gun, and I'll be putting that together pretty quickly. And between the Cogsmiths and then the Runesmiths, the Rune Lords, man, can you do some pretty cool stuff with artillery under the Greywater fastness thing in the city. You can actually improve the rending through a prayer through this guy. You can re-roll some dice on the assault guns, and there's some crazy stuff you can do, and they're pretty cheap as heroes. The cities also has this adjutant rule, where if you have, name one as your hero, and then the other guy as just kind of like an adjutant, you can get extra command points and squeak him out that way as well, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I really dig it, man. Like there's loads of character in these old models, and I'm really loving them. And Yeah, I mean they all look a little, tipsy at times, which is fantastic. I love it. Again, there's his tankard back there, and his little shield, and all his runes, and his big rune press here. And it took me a while to figure out what these guys were, and I've actually got two of these guys as well. I've got a fine cast one. I can bring them down here. A fine cast is showing that stereotypical little bit of a bend and a warble in there. I can fix that, but I really am enjoying the this kind of this big stamper up top as he's running forward, like stamping runes into people's heads. Pretty rad, really, really good. But the runesmiths, they are nuts in this game. You'll be running multiple, so I'm glad I've got a few in this. I'm glad I got a few in this army here. Anyway, really good. Cool. What else we got? What other kind of fat loots do we have? There is. Let's grab these here. Now, I'm just grabbing the foam here. One of the more characterful things in here is these guys. And now there are many similar poses in here. But I love these Longbeards. They've got so much personality and so much kind of fun going on with them. And while I have been using my old dwarf warriors as Longbeards, because the Cities book kind of limits things off a little bit, just trying to find ones you haven't seen in here. What I'm really liking is the fact that they've got, there's a bunch of duplicate poses here. I'm just trying to track my way through them. I'm really liking the fact that they've got, the old school Longbeards in there, and you can already see I've already started kind of filling up the edges here, so that when I put sand on them, they'll go through. I'm actually going to do a small video on that as well. It's going to be the dumbest, little 1-minute video ever. Yeah, I got 20 of them anyway. There's the musician in there, the drummer, there's the banner. Yeah. So there's 20 of these guys, but the poses are pretty, you can see I've already got a couple of duplicate poses in here, but they look just awesome. And so when we have that honor guard, I'll either choose a set of these guys as my Longbeard honor guard, or I'll just use my regular dwarfs as warriors, though some of them have some pretty long, impressive beards, so we'll see how it goes. Alright, so looking at these guys here, you can see that we've got all these Longbeards in here, and they've got, they're just all casual. I think it's the best part. They've seen it before. They're not really stressed out. Some guys are smoking pipes and just kind of chilling out. You've got, there's swords at the back. So I just stripped these guys. So obviously they're a little bit mucky, but they're standing on rocks. They got their little swords and their hammers and their big winged helmets and all that. They look like they're right out of like an Asterix and Obelix show for sure. Now what's interesting is you can see here they got the rings, so they're actually made to take those old school round swords, and so we can load all those up, which would be pretty nice. Yeah, and then we can put the eagle on there, the hammer on there. We can give them kind of their own little bit of extra personality. Nice to be able to denote the squads as opposed to having them all have the same shield design on them. So what a great way to kind of denote the squads. I'm really digging it. What else we got in here? The banners are cool. You'll see he's got his his hammer over his shoulders, little hammer. They got the little runes, but I love the little pot bellies. And they've got their little tankards at the side. Some of them are fairly ornate, which we'll be able to call out with a little bit of wash. Really nice. So just a nice personality. I was thinking again altering out the beards, but making the majority of them kind of white, kind of that long experienced. Jonah Johnson, wow, they are old models. Not seen them in a long time. Yeah, it has been forever. And there's something magical about kind of pulling up these old models and just seeing all the color and personality in them. But anyway, so the drummers are in here. You can see, even the drum is fairly well decorated and all that. And you can tell that even though there's a limited amount of poses, I think you can do a lot with these guys. Just having their AL that's sitting in there, and their little daggers, but the big skirts of armor. I mean, very fast and easy to paint, but I think at the end of the day they're going to have a load of personality and really kind of stand out from the rest of them there. So getting those Longbeards was great. Definitely changed the plans for me to do this. After looking at the General's Handbook, that 2019, I was thinking maybe a Dwarven force, or sorry, a dispossessed force. Their stuff is actually pretty good. Even looking at like the human side, the Free Guild side. Oh man, if you have not looked at the Free Guild rules, they basically brought back the entirety of the way the Empire used to work with detachments and countercharging and things like that. Really, really nice. Anyway, so these guys got I got about 20 of them, which I'm pretty stoked. That'll give me a nice kind of guardian force, where the leaders, if you have your generals there or heroes there, he can bleed his wounds off to the Longbeards that are there. And especially with the Longbeards, they get a 3+, they're 4+ armor, but they get a 3+ in combat. And the way the armor pass off, or the save pass off, or the wound pass off works, in a lot of 40k and other bits of Sigmar, you decline the wound to this guy, and then you assign a mortal wound to your team. Whereas this is a little bit different. This guy will actually pass the wound off. So if it's a mortal, they'll take the mortal. If it's a hand-to-hand combat, they'll take the hand-to-hand combat, and they'll be able to do that 3+ save or whatever to stop it if they're in combat. Pretty cool, actually. I'm really thinking that's a great little rule that we need to kind of have in place for sure. So those are the Longbeards, and I just love the character on them anyway. So that's what this whole thing is, to have a very characterful force. And the funny thing is that they are super hardcore. Like, they are devastating when you get them in. Because we were doing the Path to Glory games, I actually had a few difficulties winning games. I think I was just kind of underpointed for what I took. I took the steam tank here, which is I call it my low self-esteem tank. That's kind of the running joke amongst the group that we're playing with, because the thing just rolls once. Like, I'm not joking. Played played a lot of games. Even for every week I was playing 4 or 5 games, and the reality of it is it went off 3 times in that, and then there was an evening campaign, and then we've had another campaign that we've kind of started up, and it's everyone laughs at it, because every time I bring it up, and I'm stubborn, man, I'll bring the steam tank every chance I can get. It's crazy, but I gotta finish off the base and stuff. But I mean, it was a lot of fun. Like, this is really cool seeing this thing putter around, but it's super random. I don't know if it's a super death machine or anything, but it sure is. It sure does know how to die. Anyway, what's next on our list of stuff that we got? Now again, getting back to the whole Dwarven side of things, it's got, and I was putting together a list here, but it's got a whole bunch of the kind of newer Quarrelers, right? And it's got a bunch of the old Quarrelers here, right out of the Battle for Skull Pass set. And I'm hoping to kind of get in there and use the Quarrelers as well. I like the rules, and I like that they can kind of... See, I got a new puppy, and there's like little dog hairs everywhere. This has been kind of sitting out, so every time the puppy goes by, it flies in there and gets them all loaded up. Yeah, Jonah, the tank is nice. It's actually the old metal one. I wanted to kind of do a weigh it thing, and see. We'll do on one of our streams. We'll do like a weigh the steam tank, and I'll do it live with you guys, and you guys can all take a guess to see how much the see how much the steam tank weighs. But it's heavy. It's you can kill somebody with it if it broke into your house or something. So, I like having the Dwarves, the Quarrelers there. I think it's pretty cool. Having the old the Wanderers units was really kind of a neat idea. That having them be the scouts of the Dwarfs was kind of a nice touch. And so I would like to bring back a little bit of that. You can get your leader guys in there with the crossbows up and stuff to see this guy, obviously, with the detail. But he's got the long beards and all that as well. So having these guys painted up would be pretty darn sharp. I think it'd be just really, really nice. Anyway, so we got another 20 Quarrelers in there as well. I ended up actually selling some of the Quarrelers off already, just wanting to kind of just keep my numbers down. Otherwise, I'll have a painting project that'll never, ever, ever get done. But I got a few spare dudes here and there if I need them. Also got a bunch of the old miners too. Let's take a look at those guys. So what I'm doing right now is I'm literally just pulling out of the foam, just kind of off camera here. So it's probably real close to the mic. So I'm sorry if it's rattling in your ears. And man, the miners, you just get such a weird number in the Battle for Skull Pass that you get like 8 of them or something. but you know, getting a couple of them putting around, it'd be nice to bring them in. And although they're not necessarily in the cities book, we can take them if we do a dispossessed list. Even then, I think they're way back in Dwarfs, but we can ally in Dwarfs under order. So a bit messy, but I still think we can use them, and they're characterful and really interesting. The paint scheme that they had before wasn't bad either. This guy's done one round through the simple green, but yeah, so loads of the guys. I like the little characterful, you know, lanterns from the Skull Pass set. The banner and the lanterns. Yeah. I'll put these guys back here. Anyway, so with these guys, you can see that, you know, they're that kind of monopose. You know, these are just clipped out probably at the base, and but they've still got lots of little bits of detail. They got the big chain links in there. They've got the lantern, right? And they got lots of detailing that's going in on these mining axes. And I think you can still, under some of the house rules, not house rules, but the city rules, you can have some of these guys start off board. So maybe you would use them as like a set of, I don't know, hammers, and have them just start off board, and oh look, they're the miners. So maybe we can do it that way. Or I just ally in the rules and use the actual rules for them anyway. But loving the lantern here and kind of the iconography all throughout. But again, super simple to paint. Like these guys, you just, you know, do your lead belcher in there, do your gold, wash it, come back with a little dry brush on each, and overbrush the gold. They paint up so fast, so great to see. Really, really nice. And of course, conveniently enough, none of them were glued in, so I can rebase them super easily. But I think I'm up to 20 of the miners now, maybe 20. I'm hoping that I've got enough to do the 20, but yeah, I've got enough banners and musicians, I think, to do 2 squads of 10, which might be the way to go, because we almost always play with objectives and kind of going to secure them, especially in our campaigns if we're using those amazing, like what's it, the warfare cards, the open war cards. These guys here, I might have to do a review on them anyway, but these are great, but they're all objective based anyways, so pretty cool to see. What else we got going on here? We got these guys. Now they're probably going to end up getting one of the last things that I've painted, just because I really want to make sure that I've got my other stuff done first. I've also got a big burning desire to do the Free Guild guys soon as well, and I think I've come up with a contrast-based paint scheme, and maybe tomorrow we'll stream it out. I've kind of got that stuck at home for a couple of days. It's no reason for it, but I'm in my work, I do a lot of meetings and stuff, and most of my clients have canceled those, so I got some time at home for a bit. Now, coming back to these guys, now there's a few of them. They kind of got the big kind of wings on the helmets, and then the old Thanes from the Battle for Skull Pass set. My thinking is that we would use these guys as those elite infantry, that slightly more armored guys. The why does the word escape me this second? Not Iron Drakes. The armored guys. Brain's gone mush. Anyway, so I've got a big squad of those guys, and I think they look cool, and having them be kind of the veterans with the visors would be pretty neat to have them involved. And I've actually got just a big bag of them. Yeah, these guys. Big bag of them. You guys are going to have to help me out with the name there. Get on that, Google. So I've got like this big bag of dudes. Look at them, tons in there. And it's a mixture of the old things. Anybody who's got like a little bit of kind of a heavier armor, or the wings. I'm thinking of maybe having the wings on the helmets be kind of the defining detail in terms of what in terms of what they are, to kind of set them apart from the rest of the crowd. So I kind of set these guys all aside, and I love the fact that they're all kind of set up in armory. So they're going to spend lots of time in a little green bath of simple green, I'm sure, and then they should look pretty good in the end. But I love the kind of the masks. I don't know if you can see this. I'm trying to get it up nice and close. I'm loving the masks that kind of come with the sets. See that? It's like a, I'm going to do over these gold-faced, short men with tempers. It's going to be awesome. The shields, all trying to get the shields to all match up is going to be another thing as well, but I think the shields will just kind of come off these guys. Like, they're not even really glued all that well. So no problems getting the shields off these guys and kind of setting them all up. Just nice. Maybe I'll paint them and glue the shields on after. Who knows? We shall see. We shall see. But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to getting these guys painted up. And some of them are glued really well, some parts, and some parts aren't. So yeah, we'll see. Now I'm kind of dumbfounded what the name is. I'm gonna have to just do a quick search. Cities of Sigmar. It's like clickety click click click. That. I looked up cities. Grand Alliance Order. It's gonna drive me crazy. It's the whole if I don't find it out right away, I will lose my mind. Nope. Page 2. Aha. Nope. Hammers, Iron Drakes, nope. Closer, warmer. Longbeards, Iron Breakers. Iron Breakers. I'm kind of dumb. I was thinking of the Iron Drakes, but Iron Breakers, that's what I'm going to be using them for. Look at that. Sometimes the brain just won't grab onto a thought. I thought Iron Drakes, I thought, nope, that's wrong, and that was it. And I was done. So there it is. So using these guys as Iron Breakers will be pretty cool. They'll be pretty decorative and a very unique kind of squatter unit. I can even mount them up a little higher as well. But that would be cool to have those guys in there, just being a little bit more armored up to go and get some, for the sake of the dwarven houses, for sure. Settle those grudges, baby. What else we got in here? See, it's just such a mixed bag. Now, did the Longbeards, did the Quarrelers. What else? More Battle for Skull Pass guys. Now, the big thing here, which is going to be pretty rad, is this. I am loving you guys. Oh, before I do that, I got another bag of dudes, and they're warriors, but they're warriors with the axes as well. Now check out Buddy. He's got his little pint glass. He's ready to go. He's ready to fight. Look at that. That's how a dwarf fights, see? You really kind of miss those mugs of ale, in the design of the newer guys. I think they should all be these, thoroughly tanked up dudes. But these guys have all those axes, those ancestral axes or whatever, and they've got a -1 rend. As Longbeards, they'll have a -1 rend. Or the warriors can have them as well and have them in a -1 rend, which is pretty awesome because I think the warriors come in at like 90 points, where the Longbeards are around 110. So I want a countercharge unit of these guys. So I'll have the hammerers on one side, and then I'll have the Longbeards or the warriors with the axes on the other side as countercharge units, and then just a cloud of warriors in front. Hence that speed painting up of those 32 dudes anyway, so this should be good. So I got about 20 of these guys, which is great. And they just got, that little bit of personality. And I mean, although the models aren't necessarily perfect, I really kind of like what they got going on here. I think he's missing horns. He got his horns chopped off. It's no good. And I also like that they got these little tiny shields on them. Look at that, little baby shields. So cute. Anyway. So digging these guys, think they're pretty cool, and then just kind of gluing on and kind of getting them set up with some of the old banners and standards and stuff. Not bad at all. I really think it's going to come together nice. So there's still loads of painting to do, which is why I think I'm doing my baseline guys and kind of panicking to do those first for sure. All right, now what we're here for. Just spin this around. Also, with the Quarrelers or the miners, they get a bonus if they had a minecart close by, And the only place you can get that minecart, I think, was in that starter set. Now, I've got my own minecart kicking around here as well somewhere, but it's just that gray with the... It's just basically the gray with the lid on top of these here. But what's nice about this is we can fill this up with gold or something interesting and fun, and then we can add them in, or we can use them for objectives or pretty much anything. It'll be pretty cool. So got a bunch of these guys as well, just for that kind of narrative flavor. It's nice to have them as as objectives there for sure. But getting into some of the really cool stuff. This isn't particularly organized the way that you'd want it to be, but look, we got like the organ gun here, which is pretty awesome. You've got, and I'm gonna figure out which crew goes with which gun, and so they're all kind of loosely put together. But look at this, you got your big tray of muffins there, or shot, whatever you prefer, and you can see that we've got our big kind of organ gun in here as well. So nice to see some of the older kind of models are in there. You can still get organ guns, and what's interesting is you can still do them through the Mercenaries for the 2019 book, which is neat. I do think the Dwarfs are going to get their own book. And I'm only saying that because I think over time, I mean, it'd be silly if they just relegated them to this smaller kind of piece. They're kind of slow-moving, armored guys. They've got it. It's such a, you look at Gimli and Lord of the Rings, and then, the Dwarfs in The Hobbit and stuff. It's such a core element of fantasy. I can only imagine that they would get their own book eventually. And I just wonder if they'll just bring back some of these kits, because they are in plastic, right? So they should be able to make them up and send them out the door. Or maybe they just stop selling those kits. I don't know. We'll see. So I got a couple organ guns, which was neat. Did I get any of the old metal ones? No, just another plastic one. Couple of old movement trays, just a big mess of these guys. And what else we got in here? Oh, cool leadership guy. We got the old standard bearer there, with that really cool kind of banner. Yeah, I really liked him. I thought he was pretty neat as well. Now, I know I had a special rule, and you can still get some of these old rules in the Dwarfs book, or the Dwarfs PDF, I guess. But again, it would be kind of neat to have these guys sitting around in terms of, like you could use them as, part of like a Celestial Hurricanum. So I'm going to have like a big kind of, I'm going to do like a big kind of pub on wheels. I think that should be pretty cool as a conversion project. And then the next thing that we can do in here is we could probably, have some of these guys kind of standing around showing them off, which would be pretty neat. Yeah, so there's that. What else we got going on? We've got, so we're on the track of the big weapon systems, and you can see that we've got, obviously the old Battle for Skull Pass. We got the old school cannon with, the dwarf with his mug of ale and his little, his big cotton swab there. You got our friend holding the ball of death, kind of neat. And then you got this guy. Now, before this whole thing kind of came, before I got this extra thing, I was going to use him as a cogsmith because he had that kind of cog axe. But I can always put him back in his crew with one of the cannons here. But again, yeah, I kind of need to see some of the older models in. Next up, I've got, and this is kind of one of my favorites to see. Let's see. This guy here. So I'm trying to figure out who this guy is. He looks like a cogsmith, kind of wielding the double weapons. Can I get him out of the thing? Oh, maybe. So what are you, friend? You are a dwarf. And then you are a GW 2005. Excellent. So it's either a special character or a cogsmith or something like that, where he's got the double guns, just missing his backpack. But we could pretty much use him in as anything, or maybe he's one of the dwarf wanderers, eh? So, of course, they've still got the rules for that in the old dwarf book, the dwarf PDF as well for Sigmar, which is kind of cool. But slowly working my way through the stuff. Check this out. So it's the old dwarf bolt thrower. Now, in the game, they're like 100 and something points, and they do like D3 mortal wounds across the table. And I don't know if that's good or not good, but I don't know. It'd be neat to have one kind of sitting out there so we could shoot bolts across. I've actually got 2 of these things now, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I'll be able to shoot these guys, fire them way across the table, and give them a little bit of range. The dwarfs with either the thunderers or if you're using them as iron drakes or whatever, just straight up iron drakes, they don't have a lot of capacity to throw across the table and pick somebody off. And I think the reason they did that is because people were using cannons to snipe characters basically. So they knocked their ranges down, but having the old bolt thrower in there might give you a shot across the table with a couple of wounds, at least, if anything, making those other leaders a little bit, the other heroes a little bit nervous. But this will be pretty cool to paint up with the iconography all down the side, and just having that bolt in there. This weird kind of swivel is cool too, and it might just need to be fixed, right? Or, again, I was also thinking we could use it, the Hurricanum's got like this long-distance shot, and maybe we could use this to represent that long-distance shot shooting across the table. I was actually thinking of doing like a live stream and doing some collaboration and seeing, we could rewrite the rules for the Celestial Hurricanum. I think that'd be pretty cool. So we'll convert one up, and then we'll come up with the rules for it, and then maybe we'll do a bit of brainstorm. It might be a fun kind of stream thing to do. Anyway, so the old siege weapons are pretty neat. Yeah, the bolt thrower is cool. I didn't get a grudge thrower, which is pretty sad. But what I did get was a series of a couple of cool things here. Alright, so as far as flame cannons go, and again, these guys might need a stripping. They're a little bit dusty as well. But I've got this guy, and I've also got this guy, the newer one. All right. So again, having the flames get shot out of the front is pretty darn neat, and I love the decorative wheels on this. Look at that, with the kind of the bolts and that iconography kind of inlaid with the big pin on the wheels. Like, that is brilliant. What's going on with that guy there? And then there's this guy, which I think is really cool. He's got his little big heat. He's got his heat mask on, and he's like holding the door closed for the flame cannon. I think that's pretty interesting to see, kind of on the field there as well. Oh, sorry, it's not the plate. It's just a big valve, and he turns it off and on. That's what that is. That's right. So interesting kind of way of seeing these guys in here. We've also got. I'm looking for. There's a couple crew for the bolt thrower in here. It's really just a big mess up. I'm trying to kind of sort it out as I go here. What else? There's an old cannon kicking around in here too. Yeah, so like loads of cool and interesting things to look at and play with. It's honestly, it was like Christmas getting all these guys kind of set up and pulled apart, and kind of setting them all up and seeing what I want to do with them. So yeah, that's anything else I saw in here that I really need to show you guys? No, that's about it. Just a couple plastic accessories and things, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to putting this together as a bit of an army, and having some of the kind of the old specialist pieces painted up as well, just to kind of go a little bit old school with how things are set up. Now again, I can use these for maybe that Celestial Hurricanum. I don't have a lot of room on that thing, but man, who knows? We can see what's going on. So. Anyway, so that's it, guys. This was kind of an interesting preview, and I know there's a lot of people kind of sitting at home right now, so hopefully give you guys something to take a look at for a few minutes to kind of take your mind off of things in life. Hope everybody's safe and well, and thanks a lot for watching this one, guys. If you liked the video, obviously hit the like button. If you're looking for more videos like this, jab that subscribe button and click that notification bell if you want more videos as we stream. This was a pretty casual one today. We really didn't have like a set goal. But we're going to be streaming games a little bit as we go on. This series is going to be called Run 3 Battalion, and it's going to cover the kind of the Cadian timeline right before the fall of Cadia. Today was supposed to be the first day of that stream, but I think that self-isolation thing is going to be affecting that just a little bit. But plans are still there. The script is written, which is great, and we hope to have that out soon. So thanks so much for watching, guys. It was great seeing you, and we'll catch you in the next one.